All right, let's bring in Asanda Ngoasheng, political analyst, just to unpack this for us further. A very good afternoon to you, Asanda. So essentially, the ANC president openly acknowledged that DA-run municipalities are outperforming ANC ones in service delivery. I mean, how unprecedented is this level of public admission by President Ramaphosa? And what does it signal, do you think, about the pressures the party is facing going into the 2026 local government elections?
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me. I think it is important that the president is calling for ANC councillors to look at governance and to look at financial management and to ensure that they receive clean audits. But I do wish that he had qualified his statement further, because having a good record or financial management record, or clean audit as it's called by the Auditor General, doesn't necessarily mean that the people who live in these municipalities are experiencing better service delivery or are experiencing the municipalities as the best places to live. If you look at where the DA governs in the Western Cape, for example, you'll know that a lot of the suburbs do get good service delivery, and a lot of the quality of life of people who live in white suburbs are good. But when you look at the people who live in the townships and the lives that they live, it's chalk and cheese, and yet it's the same political party, that is the Democratic Alliance, that is governing in these areas. And so I think it's quite dangerous as a president what he has said, because it must be clear to people that South Africa needs government who is good at financial management, which the DA is, who can get clean audits, but also who is good at social transformation and ensuring that the inequality that South Africa has as a legacy of apartheid is dealt with. And if that doesn't happen, then a good clean audit means nothing for the shack dwellers of the DA-run municipalities.
And I mean, just on that point, when we look at these comparisons, I mean, does benchmarking against the DA municipalities strengthen the ANC's credibility as a party willing to learn? Or does it inadvertently hand the DA an election weapon, by validating its governance track record? Of course, notwithstanding your example of some of the cities that were mentioned by ANC president.
Yeah, I think this is why I'm saying it's quite a dangerous precedent that he set, because the DA is going to go and is going to use that clip for its electioneering, and it's going to use it without the full context that he was talking particularly about audit. The DA is good at getting clean audits, is good at financial management, but it is not good at the key role of a government in a country like South Africa, which is social transformation. And until it gets that right, it's not going to get my vote of confidence, unfortunately, until the people of the Western Cape, who are currently living in the city with the highest murder rate, until that changes, we are going to be stuck with these good clean audits and kind of constantly reiterating that. And I think it's sad that that's what the ANC would be looking to as an example of something to emulate, because they should be looking to emulating, yes, good governance, but also ensuring that social transformation takes place, because that's the job of government.
There are a number of ANC leaders, ANC NEC members, who don't necessarily agree with what President Cyril Ramaphosa had to say. What does this then signal? What does this tell us? Also, if you look at, the ANC confronting perhaps a trust deficit that no amount of roll calls and service delivery action plan can fix.
I think the ANC is in deep trouble, and this is going to be one of its toughest elections, because it has squandered the deep trust that people used to have in it all the way from 1994 until now. You're looking at a political party that went from having the absolute majority, more than 75%, to being a minority party that now has 40% and likely to be declining. If we're looking at, the last local municipal elections, the ANC failed to get a lot of big metros. And in the last national elections, they failed to actually secure KZN. And as a result, we have a government of national unity at a national level, and we have a government of national unity at a level of the province. And this is unprecedented. And so if I don't even know actually what they would need to do at this stage to convince people that they are serious about corruption, despite having done nothing about, the Zondo Commission outcomes, to convince people that they're serious about corruption, despite sitting currently with a commission that's going to be looking at how our very ministers, the leaders that are entrusted with safeguarding this country, are being accused of actually colluding with criminals to ensure that these criminals never see a jail cell, never mind a courthouse.
Just very quickly, Asanda, as we wrap our conversation, I want to just go back to revisiting what this all means for the ANC's brand when the president admits this reality so close to elections, given too that it probably doesn't give them enough time to implement the party service delivery action plan that was recently released following that NEC meeting ahead of the 2026 government elections.
I mean, I think it must be a sad place to be an ANC councillor, to be one of those 40,000 plus people who were there yesterday, who are at times really doing their best and really are trying to deliver with the little that they have, but they find themselves in a political party that has national scandal after national scandal, which then impacts the ways in which people at a local level see them. Councillors are the face of the party, are the people on the ground, and are the ones who get to deal with South Africans when we're upset about the lack of water, when we're upset about, the fact that our streets have so many potholes, and there are many other challenges that are faced both at a local and a national level. And if you cannot secure the trust of voters at a local level when you have an actual face, it's going to be even more difficult to secure the vote at a national level in 2029, where you're talking now about people who most South Africans may never meet, because most South Africans may never meet members of parliament, but the people who are councillors are the people that they see every day, are the people that they live with in communities. And if the trust deficit is so bad there at that level, it really does spell the doom and the death of the ANC in a lot of ways. And that's actually the fault of the ANC, because South Africans have given them more than 30 years of trust, more than 30 years of opportunity to govern. And while they've done good in some parts, for the most part, they've squandered it.
Yeah, absolutely. Asanda, thank you so much for your time and, of course, your views on this. Asanda Ngoasheng is a political analyst, just commenting there following those utterances by President Cyril Ramaphosa for the ANC.